stratify it, germinate it. The way most hackberry are produced in what's called a seed bed, where it's very simply just like you were planting garden. You plant a whole bunch of seeds in a bed, a million seeds in a big block, and you grow them for a year and you get a hackberry seedling. So this is a hackberry that's 1 year old from this itty bitty seed. Tends to form one deep carrot root. We've already cut the end of this, but before we cut it, this would have a long root. You get a 1 year old hackberry. And the way that Grandpa did it back in the 1920s, not my grandpa, but the founding fathers of the nursery business was they would take that seedling and put it back out in the field in a single row, right? Spaced, I don't know, 18 inches apart, 20 inches apart, something like that, and then cut it off after 1 year. So at that point, you got a 1 year old seedling, you dig it, you plant it, you grow it for a year, you cut it off, and then, so this is an example of that tree. It was cut off here, and then 2 years of growth, you get a hackberry that looks like this. Nice even branching, nice straight trunk, much better root system than the seedling because it was mechanically transplanted to develop a tree. So from the 1920s to the 2020s, 100 years of growing hackberry, growing trees, that's basically that core system has been the same. And then, so to have a finished tree, this tree in today's world, the roots would get trimmed and it would go into a 15-gallon container. It would make a 15-gallon hackberry. Or as a field grower, I would take this tree and plant it back out in the field and grow it for 2 or 3 more years, and I wind up with a 2 or 2.5 inch balled and burlap tree. So for the last 10 years, we've been working on different ways in which we can grow trees. So instead of taking the hackberry, this hackberry seedling here, and planting it to the field, we planted it to this little fabric bag to grow the tree for 1 year in here. It's not even really quite 1 year, one growing season to get the hackberry from that little guy up to here, nice and straight, and then we plant this tree in the fall. And hackberry's one that we grow for just 2 years, and we get a tree that's this big. The main thing that we do differently is we put the tree on 4 foot by 6 foot spacing rather than 18 inch and 4 foot or 5 foot spacing. But what the best part is how amazing the root system is after we trained it in that fabric bag. So in the fabric bag, the root tips come to the edge, it constriction prunes the root tip. But the best part about what we do is that we're working with the tree rather than against the tree. So mechanical root pruning will slow a tree down, it injures it. Cutting the top off is going to slow it down, it's going to injure it. So how can we constantly keep making the tree stronger, helping it grow, rather than mechanically root pruning it or mechanically injuring the tree? So this is a 2 1/4 inch, what we now here at Schwope Brothers call a pre-finished tree. That's 2 1/4 inch. We've tip pruned it, and because of the space, we have a nice wide branch or branch pattern around the trunk of the tree. We've trained the central leader in it, and this tree, from a seed, is only 4 years old. You know, whereas this tree, Grandpa's way, is still only 4 years old. You know, they're the exact same age. And if you look at the root system as far as the caliper of the feeder roots or the side roots are the same. Just on this tree there's more of them, and there's a lot more fibrous root. So what really helps us from a transplant perspective is the fibrous root and the quantity of the roots. So anyway, we're really excited here at Schwope Brothers to be launching this new program. We've been putting upwards of 100,000 trees into production every year using this transplant method to develop what we call a pre-finished tree. Because in the trade, you call this a liner because the head is not complete. The root system is really not complete. It needs one more step to finish the tree. This tree right here is finished. You can plant it right into the ground. You can plant it into a container. You could put it in a gravel bed and then move it later. This is a finished tree. So anyway, that's hackberry from seed to finished tree.